Well, thank you everybody for watching the film, and thank you for sticking around for the Q&A. Just a reminder that all the films in the showcase are eligible for the Audience Award, and you should receive a ballot in your email for that. So be sure to keep an eye out for that and to vote for your favorite film. And hopefully you watch a lot of the films, all of the films. They're all free. Thanks to our sponsors, and thanks to you for watching, and of course thanks to the filmmakers for allowing us to show these films in this crazy, unprecedented times. And hopefully one day soon we'll be able to finally all get together in a darkened theater and maybe raise a toast to cinema. So, but for the time being, we'll do it virtually. So be sure to go to cinelasamericas.org for the rest of the film in this series to register. There's still lots of films in the showcase. And if you can, donate to Cine Las Americas. That'll help us in our mission and actually help us give prizes to the filmmakers for the Audience Award. So anyway, here to talk about the film, Mar de Dentro, we have the filmmakers. We have, make sure I get all the credits right, your co-writer, director, and a producer, right? Dainara, did I say that right? You're in Sao
Yes,
Paulo?
yes.
And then we have one of the producers who's in Portugal right now, Eliana. Did I say that kind of close? Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you, ladies. Thank you so much for joining us and talking about the film. So let's go ahead and talk about the inspiration for the film, because if I'm not mistaken, Daniela, you're not a mother. You're not familiar with motherhood personally. So talk about the inspiration and how I think
I
you
am
were
a
able.
mother.
What's that?
I am a mother.
Oh, you
We
are
are
a mother
mothers.
now.
Yeah.
Yes, we are both mothers. And
But
Yes.
at the time, right?
at the time I was, yes,
Oh,
I
you were.
was.
Yes.
I thought I read that you hadn't.
No,
No,
no.
no, I'm a mom, and then the point is that this my experience. I think that Eliane and we got together in this project because of our own experience in a way. Because I remember I had a baby when I was 37,
Okay.
so I had a full adult life, and then when everything happened, I wasn't that kind of person that I want to be a mom. I never thought too much about that. I was very connected to my job and filming and all this stuff. And then bah, I was pregnant, and everything was so different that I realized that's such a change of life. There are so many things we must to think about before decide to have a kid, or during, things that I never heard about. And it happens to all many women. So how I thought, how can I experience that is so common in life be so how can I say, not talked about? How can we avoid to talk about that? How it's not a subject, a issue to discuss, and how ignorant could I be in this situation now? And then, well, then I start talking to friends, and everybody feels the same. Everybody felt many things that I did, and then
it's important to say that we started this project many years ago. Now we are talking, now a few years ago, we started to talk about women as a protagonist, women director, all of that, women in role. But when we start this project, what we thought in the films about motherhood was everything was finished when the baby born. So, and then happy end. And nobody talks about that. So when Dainara came with the idea of the film to me, I said, it's incredible. Nobody talks about that. So I remember when we are in a lab of the screenplay lab, and we have this tutor that was, he wrote, I forget the name now, sorry.
David Sadler, he wrote the King's Speech.
King's Speech. So he was our tutor, and he said to me, and in the end of the lab, listen, no one have a film about this situation. But what happens now, we have, thanks God, films directed by women protagonists with women subject. But it's important to say that why we take so much time to do this film, because a few years ago, like 8 years ago, I don't know, when we started this project, we don't have the opportunity to finance projects like that. So this is an important thing that we have to talk, no, Dainara, was a big journey to us since Dainara had the idea, came to me, we started to produce, to developing, and to write the film, and to produce the film, because it's so difficult. We have women director, women protagonists, and a film about motherhood. So
and a woman producer.
Yeah, and a woman producer.
I think was it the lead actress? Maybe she's Monica. Maybe she's not a mother, right?
Yes, she's not a mother.
I think that's maybe what I read, but I think she's able to bring, I think, an authenticity to the role that I think is remarkable, and not having gone through it. But I think that's a testament to both of you as writer and director, as producer. Why do you think no one talks about this? Why is it so taboo?
Do you know, that's a question. I think that when I thought about this film, I tried to make a film not to finish an answer, but to raise the discussion, to trigger this discussion. You know, why we don't talk too much about that? Maybe because we have this religion's connection with like motherhood. Maybe because we women can talk about our subjects. The cinema is very much a place for men. So we have many films about like men fighting with each other, which one is the most strong, which one is the most courageous. So we have how many films about that with this plot? I don't know, thousands. It can take place in a beach, in a plane, in a boat, but the plot is the same. And so I think that nowadays the market's is more open to other approach, other stories, I think. And so and we are very how can I say, I think that there is some, when I think that the films I've been seeing from women directors and producers are so instigating, like they are so creative. I think there are lots of things to talk about, and so it's just inspiring. And
I think is in a kind of society taboo, I think, because women is so divine, be a mother, that it's like it's complicated to tell. It's difficult to tell how our lives as a modern. This is really important to talk, that we wanted to do a film about a modern mother, a mother that have a life completely full of work, of everything, and then became pregnant. So is a complicated moment and change life completely. We have to tell that we talk with a lot of women, not only our experience, and a lot of women say that what happened with me when my son born, the woman that I was died, and now I'm another woman. So it's so crazy that, so this is what we wanted to bring, the discussion about that, about modern women that have the career, that are really good in the career, because this woman in the film, he's a leader in her career. Mm-hmm. So the importance of this, and especially for Latin America, I think, because I know that Europe have a other kind of way to talk the paternity is important too. So they try to to say to the fathers to stay with the babies. But in Latin America, we don't have that. I think in the US too, they didn't have this how can I say, Dainara, incentivo, this
like the parental leave, paternity leave, for example.
Yeah,
we don't have it. 5 days in Brazil only.
So the charge of have a son is for a women. So in our lives,
financially included sometimes, you know, here. So it's a lot. It's something that, for example, what used to be in other societies, like more a community thing, more a group thing, becomes like with modernity, something that it's the woman has to deal with everything. Mm-hmm. Even when you are married, even when you are married to a guy that is very cooperative, that helps you a lot and everything, but like the way things are is we have to deal with that, and mm-hmm. it's a lot. And
can you talk a little bit about, you know, most of the people watching this movie are going to be in the United States, and you kind of hinted at it a little bit there in your answer, but maybe talk about the differences of what it's like, as best as you can, of being a single mother, a professional working woman in America, and then having a child versus in Latin America, maybe different cultures where maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's harder, maybe it's not as accepted. I don't know. What do you think is the difference?
Well, I think it's different. What can I say? I lived a year in the United States, and the school where my son went, I could let him at 8:30 and pick him up like at 2:30, or sometimes with the after school, I could pick him up at 5:30 in the afternoon. Here we don't have this kind of thing here in Brazil, and the public schools are not good. So we have to. It's really different. We have everything is very expensive. We have to pay for everything, so we have to work a lot. And if you were talking about middle class, that was my goal. Not to talk about. I could have had a protagonist of a lower class, and it's something that people like the market wants from Brazilian movie. Not talk about middle class. You can't talk about middle class. Talk about poverty. Talk about
poor people.
Talk about poor people. This thing of this. And I said, no, I don't want to make it a social thing. I want to talk about motherhood. So I try, of course, and there is the nanny in the movie that she has a daughter and she has a nanny mm-hmm. as well. So it's hard for everybody when, because we don't have part-time jobs here. The paternity, the license, it's 5 days. So it's disconnect. It makes like, it's almost tell the fathers, you don't, if you want, you can help. It puts the thing in helping.
It's not your obligation.
Yeah. It's not, it's your son as well. So it depends on the man, like, and many avoid because it's tough. It's a lot of work. It's amazing. We are talking now, we want to raise the discussion. Of course, it's amazing to have a kid, to have a daughter, a son, but it's a lot of things. And when there is somebody helping, or when I think that the government should have more, how can I say, a social system to help. Otherwise, it's money. So to have to have the kid well taken care, you have to work more and you get more away from the kid, and so it becomes something very unreasonable, you know,
and annoying. It's completely crazy. You have to have 2 nannies, one for the day, one for the night, because if you have a profession like us that you have to shoot 12 hours a day, how could you do? So it's really complicated. When I have my son, when my son born, I decided to have a kind of sabbatic year to understand what I will do in my life, because for me was completely, it changed my life completely. So I think in the United States, you have a different culture about, I think it's more equal about the participation of father and mother. Of course, we are not in an equal world yet about women and men, but I think we are trying to that. So in our film, it's interesting, one thing, he dies and she's alone, but it's a kind of in a kind of way sometimes happens without he dies, because he continues his life as nothing happens, going to work and everything, and arrive at home, oh, I'm tired, I work all the day and I have to work tomorrow too. So, and the woman stay like, I have a lot of friends that say, it's crazy because I hate him. He's so out of this crazy moment that I am. And it is this. So it's complicated, I think. It's a moment, I don't know, it's different. Latin American is another part of the world, I think.
Yeah. Well, to switch gears, maybe talk about, this is your first fictional film, right? Because you work a lot documentaries.
Yeah.
So maybe talk about the difference and maybe why a fictional film and what is the difference between the two?
Yes, and I do fiction in television, like TV series as well. And I love going through one thing into the other. I was graduated in journalism, and then I think in my first short is a fiction, but I always went to one thing to the like mixing things. And in the beginning it was, no, but you can't, you must be, or you direct documentary or a fiction, you can do both. And nowadays it's totally blurred, there is no division, you can do it or what else or whatever. And I think it was very important to me, my experience as a documentarist in this movie. Yeah. Because of the way we decide to approach the story. I didn't want to make a plot film, you know, like full of things and results and answers and consequences. I really want to dive in her life, like as if we were observing her. And I think I had the guts to do that, like because of my documentary past. I like to, sometimes I used to, I didn't, sometimes I haven't, I didn't say, how can I say in English, sorry. I didn't say anything to her, just I put her in that situation. And Monica Yos, it's an amazing actress. Do you know that she is known in Brazil for comedy? She had never done a drama. And so it's, I'm very curious when the film will be, is released in Brazil because of that. And she's so into the body of the character, and constructing the body for me is very important, I think. And when you talk about pregnancy, that is something that affects the body, the exterior, but the inside a lot. Like all your body becomes with the different, like move differently. So she was very into that. We could not put any makeup. We could avoid all the stuff, like to make most real. And I was very grateful to find and convince her to participate of the film. It was a gift for the film. And
she was really committed with us, with the film. So in the end we became friends, but we are committed with the story that we wanted to shoot. So and she was really she went really deep in everything. She's really an amazing actress.
The funny thing is, in the middle, sometimes she looked at me and said, I think I'm not gonna have a kid. And I said, no, please.
Yeah, because the scenes we have
Please.
like 4 babies,
We
really
forget
similar,
everything.
and babies cries and everything. It's like, oh my God, I don't know if I want to have a kid.
But I want to tell something that was very important to me that is very funny. I consider it funny. I consider it a coincidence, destiny, something like that. I live in São Paulo, and like some months before we start shooting, I had how can I say, a girl moved to my next door, a neighbor, yeah, in the next door, and she was pregnant. And and she delivered like a month before we start shooting. So when we start shooting, during our rehearsal, I thought, like, I used to wake up in the middle of the night with her baby crying, 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 crying. And that was, oh my God, I want to go there and hug her and say, I'm with you. I understand what you're feeling. Please, you can call, you can be fragile. And it was funny because then when we start shooting and the baby, when we were doing that scene in the hospital, and the baby started crying, like my cinematographer like almost cut, and I said, no, don't. And so the crew that wasn't used to listen a newborn crying, they were like very nervous, wanting to cut, and the mother was in her mobile. The
mother of the baby that was shooting with us.
The mother of the baby was in her mobile because she,
really happy because she was another.
Of course, yes, not that and you go there, it never happens like that. Sometimes you are in the bathroom and then you have to wait a little bit. The baby will not die because she's pregnant. So I let it a little bit, and it was, when I finished that shot, I said, oh my God, he cried, the baby crying. That moment was like amazing.
It's like a sign. Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. Well, before we leave, I want to give you a chance. Are you working on anything else? Or, I mean, can you work on anything? Or how are you staying productive, staying busy?
Do you want to talk first?
Yeah,
because
I am working. I was almost releasing 2 projects that was finished and went to festivals last year. I have a documentary that won Doc Leipzig. It's All True was one of the Brazilian documentaries that was in the pre-list for the Oscar, and we were gonna release in April, so we cancel. And I have another fiction film that we were gonna release in May that we cancel. That I was with this film in Berlin last year. So now I have five feature films. The Sea Within, Mar de Dentro is ready, and it's the first time that you're seeing the film. So I have now almost 4 films that we are in the post-production. And I have a documentary that this year we just won the developing of Sundance and IDFA for developing, and I have another fiction film too. Let's see, I don't know what happens now.
Yes, I'm in fact, like after I finished Mar de Dentro, The Sea Within, I went back to work in TV series. I'm one that's called Us 5 will be released now. In fact, it's happening now, today, now in this moment. And then I'm preparing to shoot another TV series for Amazon, but then we are stopped because we don't know what we are going to do. And I have other two personal projects that are, one is a fiction, like a woman protagonist with
together.
That
you're doing together.
Yeah, that I want to do. It's a fiction film. It's a girl that goes back to live with her mom, and they had never lived together because she was raised by the grandmother. And so they barely know each other. And they went to live inside a condo here in São Paulo. That's something that's very Latin America, like lots of buildings with a fence and everything is inside. So you don't need to go outside. So it's became a strange society, you know, and it's very, people that are here that are afraid of being robbed and all these things, they go to this, it's for wealthy people, it's very strange environment in a way. So, and I have another, then it's a documentary about the time of the dictatorship here, in South America, which is called the Anti-Condor Operation.
Okay. Well, hopefully someday soon, maybe next year, Cine Las Americas in Austin, or someday soon we can see all those films and, like I said, get together and finally celebrate cinema in a theater with each other. So
yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for sharing your film and sharing time, telling some great stories, and wish you the best with the future projects, and hopefully stay safe and stay busy.
Thank you, all of you, all the team of Cine Las Americas, and thank you for everybody that have the opportunity and have the time to see our film. It's really important for us.
Yes, me too. I want to thank you, everybody. Thank you, Cine Las Americas. Thank you for this great conversation. It was very pleasant. And I want to thank everybody that saw the film. It was the first time that the film was shown for an audience. So it's a very important moment for us.
Very good. Thank you. And don't forget to vote for the audience winner, and hopefully see you at some other screenings. Thank you.